can try and win championships, and that's what it's all about. When you look from the outside and you watch this team, I know we're going to have a real good, solid hockey team this year.
Welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host right here, Eric Wilson. Today, we are going to talk about the New York Rangers being on a losing streak. They've lost 2 games in a row, and they've lost 3 of their last 4 games. Season got off to a really good start with a win over the Tampa Bay Lightning, but since then, it's been a very shaky road for the New York Rangers, and tonight they do play the reigning champs of the Colorado Avalanche, who are also sitting with the same record of 3-2-1 as the New York Rangers. So it's going to be a tough matchup for sure. And we're hoping that the Rangers are able to break their losing streak tonight. But today we want to talk about in this video how they can break their losing streak, get back on track, and get back towards a successful season. But before we really dive into all of that good stuff, Eric, how are you doing today?
Not the greatest. Sorry we haven't been uploading recently. I broke a rib. Anthony here had a partial tear in your ACL.
Yeah.
So it's been a rough couple of days for us. Been a rough couple of days for the New York Rangers too. A little shaky start to the season, still a little early, but we do have our concerns, and I'm a little nervous for tonight's game because we can't even beat bottom of the league teams. So how do we expect to beat the Colorado Avalanche? But I guess we kind of just gotta.
I guess that's the question. How do we expect to beat the Avalanche when the Rangers are playing at the level that they're playing at, which is obviously not too good. Of course, losing to a team that was 0-4 going into the game, I believe
it was 0-6. The Sharks were.
Yeah, so it's been a tough scene for the Rangers the past few days. Like he said, it's been a tough scene for us. Flag football tore my knee to Swiss cheese. He got
boxing.
Yeah.
Boxing injury.
Boxing injury. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. Boxing injury got him. And a couple injuries also got some Rangers players. Of course, Philip Hedl out at least a week with a concussion. Anybody else on the injury list?
I think it's just Phil right now.
All right, so Hedl's going to be out with the concussion. But right now, we do want to talk about what the Rangers can do to break the streak, how they can get back to playing winning hockey. Number one thing that we've noticed is defense. The defense has not been good, and it's something that the Rangers need to improve immediately. So, Eric, what is your take on the defense?
So I wouldn't say that every defender is playing poorly. I think that Adam Fox, as we've mentioned in the past, he's our best defenseman, and he's played really good to start the season. I think the biggest problem that I'm seeing down there on the defense is the third D pairing, Braden Schneider and Zach Jones. Man, they're just really not good. I hate to say it, but I would take Lieber Hayek at this point, and I don't like him very much, but I don't know what it is because they played really well together during training camp and throughout the preseason. But when it comes to the first 6 games of the regular season, they just don't look like NHL defensemen. It's just really not good.
Yeah, it's been a real struggle there, and then there's also been some problems in net as well. Halak has just not played too well. The 2 games that he's started, we've lost both of them. He's let in pretty large amount of goals. So in terms of, the drop-off between Igor Shesterkin and Yaroslav Halak, how big of a difference does that make in your opinion? And can the Rangers afford right now, as they're on this losing streak and, lost their last 4 games, can they afford not to put Igor in net right now?
See, it's tough to say because even to start off the season, Igor hasn't looked like himself recently. His stats are just not what they could be. We've always said he's not going to have repeat numbers from last season, but what we're seeing right now is just not anywhere near all-star goalie that we've seen. But the drop-off is still huge. The defense does need to step it up, as we just mentioned, and help out Halak and Igor. But, Halak has let in some goals that I could have saved. You could have saved. You've never played goalie in your life. You probably could have saved at least one of them. But, there is a huge drop-off, and I really think that Igor needs to be in net most of these games, especially tonight, which I'm assuming we're going to see.
Yeah, I'm assuming he'll be in the lineup tonight. I could definitely pull that up and check for sure. But, yes, he definitely should be in the lineup. I think that Yaroslav Halak, we did cite him as an upgrade in the offseason, trying to, hopefully see him improve over Georgiev. Georgiev had his struggles as well. They moved on from him, and we wanted a solid veteran behind Igor Shesterkin to take over. And we got that, but I think that, what we're seeing right now with Yaroslav Halak has been a bit underwhelming. But as you mentioned, it's been a little bit underwhelming from Igor Shesterkin as well. He started off the season really hot, great performance against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Rangers, though, in general, just started off really hot against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So since then, we've seen a bit of a drop-off in play. But I will say another key to breaking this losing streak is to play through those players who are playing well, one of them being Artemi Panarin, the bread man. That's your favorite New York Ranger. He is crushing it right now. He's on pace for 160-something points in the season. He's just going crazy. Eric, what is your take on Artemi Panarin?
Easily the best player on the team right now, and you could argue that he's the best player in the NHL right now. I don't think he's leading the league in points anymore, but he was as of a couple of days ago. Like I said, have been a little out of it the last couple of days. But he does lead our team. He has 12 points in 6 games, so he's averaging 2 points a game. That's pretty much all we need from him. You can't really expect much more. So at this point, when people like Kreider and Zibanejad really aren't like stepping up and putting up points right now, just give the puck to Panarin and let him do everything that he can to carry this team right now.
Yeah, and I also have a really cool stat about Artemi Panarin from New York Rangers Stats and Info on Twitter. Against Colorado, Artemi Panarin has points in his last 7 games, 2 goals and 7 assists, and in 9 of his last 10 games, 4 goals and 8 assists. Panarin has a point in 14 of his 17 career games against Colorado and has 4 multi-point games and 1 3-point game. So, expecting a huge performance out of Artemi Panarin tonight. If the Rangers are going to break that losing streak and get back into the winning column tonight, they're going to have to do it playing through Artemi Panarin, and I expect him to have a very solid performance. Historically, he loves to beat up on the Avalanche. I have another important stat to note here as well. We're talking about Filip Chytil being out for at least the last week, and I want to just kind of shed light on how serious that is and how much of a detriment that could be to the New York Rangers. Here's some stats about how valuable Chytil has been through 6 games from Vince M on Twitter. Can't say his last name right now. His 63.06 percentage shot share at 5v5 is the best on the team. His 22.2% shooting percentage is second best. His 67.42% expected goals for is also second. His 1.31 expected goals attempts per 60 minutes is the best, and he's the only regular skater who hasn't been on ice for a goal against. So Filip Chytil has actually been crushing it through 6 games. He's having that breakout season that we were hoping to see from him. And it's unfortunate that he is going to be out for at least the next week. But once he comes back, he will be a huge factor in getting the Rangers back on track and getting back to playing winning hockey. Right now, I don't want to hit the panic button. It's only been 6 games. It's a young team. It's a long, long season. Right now, they are in a little bit of a slump. They do need to get out of it. Chytil's not going to be there to help them get out of it, but Artemi Panarin absolutely will. But Eric, what are your thoughts on those stats from Filip Chytil, and how valuable do you believe him to be to this team?
Those are great numbers. He is an extremely valuable member of the team. We've talked so much about depth throughout the offseason and how the bottom 6 really needs to step up if we want to be a Stanley Cup winning team. And, those are numbers that are going to get us there. And so, yeah, it is really tough to see him out. But luckily, from what I've seen, he'll only be out about a week with an upper body injury. So I'm very excited to see him just continue when he comes back. Hopefully this little break and recovery won't set him back at all, and he can just come back and help his team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to know, what are a couple other ideas that you have in mind about how the Rangers can get out of this funk, get out of this losing streak?
I think they need to stop underestimating their opponents. We are a good team, and we can beat teams like the Colorado Avalanche and the Tampa Bay Lightning, but we can't just go into these games against the Blue Jackets and the Sharks, who aren't good, and just play leisurely, don't play with any competitiveness, and just expect to win. I think you need to play your heart out every single game, help out your goaltending, and just score goals. And that's pretty much it. Like you said, don't hit the panic button just yet. We're only 6 games in, but 6 games in is still not 1 or 2 games. We do need to address these problems right away, just so we don't fall too far out of it. The Rangers are 5th in the division right now, not even at a wild card spot. So hopefully make some changes and we can climb our way back in.
Yeah, and before we wrap this one up here, I want to know what your take is on some of the guys in the top 6. How are you feeling about Kreider, Zibanejad, and Trocheck through the first 6 games?
Zibanejad, I think, is the best one out of the 3. Trocheck is doing well already. He's playing good with Panarin. Most of Panarin's goals have come with a Trocheck assist attached to it. Kreider, he needs to play better 5v5 wise. He can't really only produce on the power play, which has also been a little lackluster recently. But yeah, I think Kreider always does this though, where he takes a little bit of time to step into his game.
Yeah, and hopefully that's all this is. Hopefully he's just easing into the motions of the season, and soon enough we're hoping to see, of course, the New York Rangers have another breakout performance and get back on a hot streak. Again, they started off the season so hot against the Tampa Bay Lightning, but this game against the Avalanche, I think, is super crucial for the Rangers to get back on track. If they can get a win here, I'll feel really confident that, they can go forward and start getting back to their winning ways. But I guess that really wraps this one up. Let us know down below in the comment section, what are your keys to breaking the losing streak, and who are you keeping an eye on in this game that we're heading into against Colorado? Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this episode. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. We'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Rangers.
Go Rangers.
He shoots. He scores. Rangers.